Welcome to Dodgers Daily. Casey Porter here, joined by a very special guest today in downtown Oklahoma City Bricktown Ballpark, home of the AAA Oklahoma City Comets. Michael Siani joins Dodgers Daily for the first time. Michael, it's a pleasure to talk to you.
Yep, thanks for having me on.
Okay, first of all, take us through your journey and how you ended up as a Dodger and just kind of that whole process. It's been a while.
Yeah, this will be my 8th year in pro ball, 8th or 9th. So I was drafted out of high school in 2018 in the 4th round by Cincinnati, and I was with them for 6 years. Went through the minor leagues with them, got my first call up to the big leagues in 2022 at the end of the year, and then was with them through 2023 and was DFA'd and claimed by St. Louis at the end of 2023. Got over there, was in the big leagues with them for a year and a little bit, all of 2024 and then some of last year, and then went through the DFA claim process a lot this past offseason. Was with 4 different teams. I was with the Dodgers twice, Atlanta, and the Yankees, and ended up back here right before spring training. And yeah, it was at spring training, obviously out in Arizona. My first spring training out there in a little while, and I'm here now. So yeah, it's kind of a short story.
Okay, so you're known for your defense, elite defense. So talk about that and maybe kind of explain what defensive metric, outs above average or whatever it may be, that you focus on the most that might define you the best as a defender.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I look a ton into the numbers, but from the ones that I have seen, I think like any type of range metric or how much distance I can cover and how efficient I can get there is the most important one. So I guess outs above average covers that to an extent, and I just like knowing if I'm able to get to balls that the average player isn't able to get to, and what adjustments I got to make to do that.
Obviously you have elite speed, and you're known for, you just said it just a second ago, you're known for actually making catches that have very low probabilities of making a catch. So is it your speed? Is it the jump off the bat? Is it the angles you take? What is it that allows you to catch balls that other guys don't?
Yeah, I think it's probably a mix of a lot of things. I like to use my instincts as best as I can as soon as the balls hit and go from there. But I think just making sure I'm moving in an efficient way, and I'm taking a direct route as best as I can to the ball, and knowing what kind of stadium I'm playing in, knowing what the wind's doing, knowing who's up to bat. There's a lot of different variables into kind of going and making a play, but as long as all those things are kind of flowing through my head before the pitch happens, then once the play's going on, I can just kind of use my instincts and go and not have to think about too much at all. So I think that's the best way for me to be successful out there is trust in my preparation and trust in how I get ready pre-pitch, pre-game, whatever it is, and then go out and go make a play.
So how have you taken that elite speed and actually turned that into being a good outfielder? You got to be more than just fast, right?
Yeah, I think speed's obviously helpful, and it helps you get to some balls for sure. But I think just understanding how your body moves and understanding, if you're better going one way or the other, if you need to cater yourself towards moving a certain way, is helpful. Those are some of the metrics I look at too. I'm better going certain ways, and I'm not as good going certain ways. So I like to put myself in better positions to start. Obviously, you want to be fast and athletic, but I think just knowing yourself and knowing what you can do puts you in a good position.
You're known to dive a lot, and you make a lot of diving catches. That's a lot of fun to watch. So do you have a predetermined notion of when am I going to dive, what type of ball am I going to dive on? Take us through that.
Not a ton. I think honestly it's just like I said earlier, it's just instincts into what I can do. And I've played for long enough now, and I think in the beginning of my pro career, I had to learn a little bit more of what it's going to look like and how close I can get to the ball if I really want to make a dive for it and go. But at this point, it's I pretty much know when I'm 4 or 5 steps away from the ball, if I'm going to need to dive or not. Or if I'm going to need to pull up and just try to keep the ball in front of me, or take a little bit deeper of an angle towards it. So I think it's just very, very much instinctual, and just got to trust that.
Probably a really dumb question, but is there any way to work on that, catching, diving, after you dive after a ball?
It's
really?
tough because, like,
Yeah.
you know, those are the type of things where you don't want to get hurt in
Yeah, right,
practice, and
absolutely.
you want to be careful with what you're doing. But I think the first thing is you just got to be comfortable doing it. Like, I know some guys, it's tougher, and you can bang up your shoulder or
Yeah, right.
whatever. So I think I treat it like diving into a base.
Yeah, okay.
Just staying low to the ground
Yeah.
as best as I can and not trying to, like,
Yeah.
you know, belly flop almost.
Yeah.
That's how you kind of bang up your shoulders or your labrums and stuff. So I think that's probably the most important part for me. Just try to glide into it.
Okay, we know the defense plays at the major league level. It's elite at every level that you want to go at. So I think it's maybe a fair question. Maybe you can answer me this, but is it a fair question to say it's going to be your offensive side that's going to determine how fast you get back to the major leagues and how well you stick? Would that be fair?
Yeah, I think so. I think you want to be able to help the team win in all facets of the game. So I know, you know, they're going to use me a certain way if I go back up there, and offense is going to be a part of that, and I'm going to have to, you know, prove that, you know, I can stick and I'm able to put together quality at bats and be able to get on base. You know, the big league team, if you know what they can do in terms of, you know, hitting the ball out of the ballpark or driving the ball all over the place, and, you know, obviously it's good to do that for me as well, but I'm more of a guy that's going to get on base and be able to score a lot of runs for these guys that are going to be hitting the ball over the yard. So that's been kind of the focus, putting together quality at bats and making sure I'm walking and hitting the ball hard, just driving the ball to all fields.
We hear this term, you know, keep the barrel in the zone as long as you can. That's been a focus for you. What exactly does that mean for a professional hitter?
I think just being able to adjust the pitches more so. Like, the longer your barrel's in the zone, the better you are. And when you are fooled, like, it's going to happen. You're going to get fooled by pitches. You're able to maybe foul that off or be able to stay through the ball a little bit longer and, you know, drop it in for a hit. Because you're going to be, you know, you're going to be on time for certain stuff, and you're going to, you know, barrel certain pitches.
Does that mean not lift, or what is that? What exactly?
I just think it means just, like, keeping it on the line wherever it is. Like, not, you know, smashing it into the ground or popping it up. I think just consistently keeping the ball on a line, and again, being able to hit it at all fields, like, in terms of keeping the barrel in the zone for longer and being more adjustable to certain pitches. You know, you're going to see a lot of different stuff at this level and in the big league level as well.
Feel good where you're at with that adjustment right now?
Yeah, it's been good so far. It's obviously, you know, it's still first month of the season, but it's been good the last few weeks, I think, and just got to keep putting together good at bats, and even the lineup we have here, we got a lot of guys that can really swing it. So just being able to get on base for those guys and being aggressive and just having fun out here is the most important.
Yeah. Two more questions for me. First of all, the culture with the Dodgers, the instruction. What specific things have the Dodgers changed on you offensively with your swing? Approach-wise, maybe too.
Yeah, I would say more like approach, and I don't know if it's too much of a change. I just think it's, you know, they want me to be confident and instill that confidence in me to go out there, be aggressive, and put together good at bats. I don't think there's one certain mechanic or one certain thing that they want me to do. I think just, you know, with talking to Doc and RBS, obviously coaching the big leagues and the coaches here, you know, Dylan and Dahl have done a good job of just, like, keeping the same ideas of driving the ball to all fields and being aggressive in my zone. And, you know, obviously there's room for me to hit for power, which is great, but that's just kind of an add-on, and I just want to consistently be getting on base and you know, stealing bases and running around all over the place.
Creighton, right?
What's that?
Creighton, right?
Creighton?
University?
No.
Okay, no.
High
My
school.
bad. Okay, it's okay. All right. You've been to multiple organizations professionally. Can you talk about the difference between the Dodgers and some of the other organizations?
I just think in terms of resources and everything like that, I think the Dodgers do a really good job of taking care of their guys. And, you know, obviously it's not the easiest team in the big leagues to be with just because of the talent up there and you know, the amount of dudes.
Do you think about that, the competition? Like, wow, how am I ever going to make it to the major leagues?
No, I think of it as, like, more of a challenge and more of, like, you know, you want to get up there and compete to win a World Series. That's the goal. That's why everybody's here. And I think that's a challenge that, you know, if you can go up there with them, you're in a good spot to you know, compete with anyone at the highest level, because that's, you know, that's the top team in the world right now. And, I mean, it's shown over the last 2 years, so it's going to continue this year. So
Fantastic. Michael Siani, thank you so much for doing that. I've taken a lot of your time.
No problem.